Yes. Hello, everyone. Could we kindly have our microphones on mute? Yes. Thank you for joining us. I'll be your host for the day today. My name is Naomi Sang, and I'm the communication lead for M-Changa. And with me is Michael. He's the one who was doing the introduction. And also on the panel, we have a panel of three. And I would like to first introduce them before we can get onto the ground rules and also into the session. So our first speaker for the day is Francis Amonde, who's the founder of Cup of Uji. Francis has been with M-Changa since 2012. That was literally the year we started, and he has been fundraising for his organization since then. He has seen, he started when online fundraising was a very new concept, and we're really excited to learn what has worked for him this far and what he's going to share with us. Second on the list, we have Eric Njoroge, who's the Resource Mobilization Officer for Caritas Nairobi. Eric's organization fundraiser is quite unique because they started off during this COVID time, and it's been a time where there's been lack of money, but they have still been able to raise significant amount. And while we are struggling with the question of fundraising during COVID, raising resources during COVID, we're also very excited to learn from him and what they have been doing. We also have third on the list is Lucy Kaguta, who's the founder and director of Total Care Box. And she's been with us since 2017. And she's in the healthcare space, which is a space where we have a lot of organizations in, and we are really excited to also learn from her. She's going to be joining us shortly, but we will continue as it is. On that note, I will maybe welcome Michael to say hi to us, and then before we proceed. Michael, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Okinyi, Head of Sales in M-Changa. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I cannot really express how happy I am to have you here. Kindly feel free. We can assure you we are going to have a very good session at the end of it. I believe all of us will go home with something. So I'll just pass it back to you, Naomi. Thank you, everyone, and feel welcome.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Begin first is, I don't know how many of you are aware, but World Bank recently gave a report where they were estimating the value of online crowdfunding in Africa. And a projection they have for 2025 is that online fundraising in Africa will be worth $2.5 billion. And currently, as we speak, last year's statistics show that online fundraising has been able to raise $24.16 million in Africa alone. I think this paints a very clear picture of how online fundraising is coming to be the future of organizations, because unlike grants or loans, with online fundraising, all you have to do is tell your story, and you're going to have people who are going to support your organization's activities without really having the stress of thinking about how am I going to be able to pay for this loan, or applying for grants, that a process that may take something like 7 months, and then there's always the possibility that it may or may not happen. So as many organizations now move towards this, I believe it is important for us to be able to learn more and find out how, as organizations, we are going to be able to ensure that our activities continue running well with the smoothness of online fundraising. And as we touch on why online fundraising is ideal for your organizations, I would like to have Francis. What made you choose online fundraising? What made you go there? What is it that made you go towards the online fundraising way, Francis?
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I happen to be on the road, and I'm from West Pokot, but I'm now approaching Nairobi. So basically, what made me choose the online fundraising platform is because one, it's kind of the accountability aspect of it, and then the fact that everyone else can be able to access and see how much we've been able to raise, and also the percentages, and the fact that also there is the aspect of accountability in terms of you must have a treasurer, someone who has to approve withdrawals, and that is quite something important, because when I started with M-Changa, it was the SMS-based platform, which was kind of analog, but that was the starting point. And then with time, it graduated to the online platform, which was actually better, because in terms of even the fundraising panel, that is the back end and both the front end, in case someone wants to donate, they can easily click on any of the options and actually run away with it. Yes.
Thank you. That's an interesting one. And Eric, what led Caritas to choosing online fundraising and M-Changa as the platform of their choice in regard to their COVID response?
Thank you, Naomi, for that, and I'm happy that I'm joining the panelists, Francis and was it Susan?
Lucy.
Lucy, but she's not in. But I'm happy for this platform. And one thing that led Caritas Nairobi is a Catholic-based organization. We are based at Cardinal Tunga Plaza, and that's where I am right now. Never done any online fundraising activity. So when I joined Caritas early this year, I was here some years back, but when I joined Caritas early this year, this was a new idea I wanted to push to the organization so that we can embrace the new form places that I have worked. I have worked in different countries in the world, and they have been joining the crowdfunding. You all know about the crowdfunding concept. So when I started, I wanted them to have a new way of fundraising. And I liked M-Changa. I did a lot of research, the local-based online fundraising, and I saw M-Changa. I interacted with it, and I read about the profiles of some of the cases they have used the M-Changa fundraising, and I realized this is a good one, is a good platform. I started the campaign in April 2nd, and I wanted to use the COVID situation to see how the dynamics of fundraising, the local fundraising using M-Changa. And I'm happy that it went beyond my expectation. As Francis has said about accountability, having the officials, then there's a one-on-one interaction with the contributors. Because later I'll be sharing with the attendees how I interact with the contributors, because there's one-on-one. And that one I have seen that it has really gone beyond what I thought. And what you have raised online is just a drop, because majority of my funding has gone through other mainline channels like banking and bringing the check in my office. So I used M-Changa online fundraising because I know that's the future. And if you look at the mobile phone penetration in Africa, and specifically in Kenya, we are at a better position to leverage the mobile penetration to be one way of fundraising in our country. So thank you, Naomi.
Yes, I think Eric has mentioned a very important aspect that I was just about to talk about. And this is following up on the report by World Bank. One of our own, Matt Roberts, did an interesting article on why Africa needs crowdfunding now. And one of the things that they talked about organizations benefiting the most from crowdfunding is that they are able to build a relationship with their donors. So it goes more than just the initial amount that I'm going to donate into the account, but it now goes to a point where I'm able to reach out to my donor. We're able to form a relationship where they can even be volunteers in my organization, or they can even offer their services to us, or it's just something you can create that database, because with M-Changa, you're also given the options of having a list of all your donors, easily downloading it from the system. There's a follow-up through SMSs, and there's all that. So Francis and Eric, I would like to maybe ask, is this true to your organization? Have you had friends who have, donors who've turned into friends of a Cup of Uji or Caritas? I would really love to know that. Maybe we can start with Eric and then move to Francis.
Yeah, it's true. Thank you, Naomi, for that. Yes, true. Actually, I'll give you some of the strategies that I'm using M-Changa for. We maybe late this year, we are going to launch Caritas Nairobi, Threads of Caritas Nairobi, or you can call it Caritas Nairobi Network. And one way of getting true friends, they are the one who have been supporting you in all my activities. At M-Changa, right now I have more than around 600 contributors, and they have contributed more than once. Some have contributed even 10 times. And so out of the list of 600 people, I have seen who are very serious friends of Caritas. And this one will be part of Caritas Nairobi Network. I have their name, I have their contact, and we have been interacting. Hello, Naomi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Francis? Yeah, sorry, because I have seen that there may be some network problem. So from the M-Changa database that I have downloaded in Excel, I have a very solid group of supporters whom will be part of Caritas Nairobi Network. And these are the contributors that I'm going to divide them according to the amount they have been sending, because I know I have friends who have been sending more than 50,000. I have friends who have been sending around 40,000, 30, 20, 10, up to 100. So I know the level of my friends. So I'll have a different language to every level of the contributors. So that's quite true. We have good network, and from the M-Changa, I have now an entire database of who are the true friends of Caritas Nairobi.
Okay, that's interesting. And the plans you have, the network you have built. And Francis, I think you will now speak to the network you've had over the time. Do you have any experience with the reality of having people who have turned from donors to friends of Cup of Uji?
Yes, basically, you see, for Cup of Uji, it's easier because one, we kind of make use of social media so much. So we tended to realize that the people who support us through social media and seeing our posts, and because we have the links, the donation links on all our sites, so it's easier for someone to donate a team friend, and some of them also ended up even volunteering for us in some of the schools and even supporting, just maybe taking their days off and coming to volunteer aside from just donating. So, and sometimes even come on board and even donate funds for the kids and even bread. So yes, it's true that some of the donors have turned into friends, and it's because they're able to see what we're doing and they're able to see the level of accountability for the funds that they're donating. So it makes our work easy. Yes.
Okay. I'm glad that both of you have found value in that. And so I'm thinking about how you have both spoken about accountability, and I was wondering, as an organization, what other values have you gotten from online fundraising other than the accountability bit? Something that maybe if you would have gone fundraising maybe through word of mouth and something different than online, you will not have gotten value from. Yes, we can maybe have Francis start this time, and then Eric can join in.
Okay, what I can say is that one, it is the level of fundraising that we've been able to realize. It is something I wouldn't have realized through word of mouth, like the amount and the reach.
Yeah.
Because once it is online, then it means anyone from any part of the world can be able to access what we do and be able to see, because the online platform even gives the options of fundraisers uploading videos and photos of what they do. So people out there are able to interact. When they click on the M-Changa as a company, the website of M-Changa, then they're able to interact with different fundraisers and be able to see that this is what this organization is doing. So I think that has been like we've been able to be raising so much because of that wide reach that M-Changa has given us, as opposed to if I would be doing one-on-one fundraising, which is quite tough sometimes. So it has made our fundraising much more easier, and at least it takes less time to fundraise, and you get to reach so many people. Because like for us at Kapovuji, we have like currently we have over 3,000 people who are contributors on our platform. So yeah, so I wouldn't have been able to reach 3,000 people just like that. So yeah, so yeah, that's a plus.
Okay, Eric.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to echo what Francis has said in terms of reach. And at the same time, what of account M-Changa or crowdfunding is that looking at, as I said before, looking at number of young and old people who have access to mobile phone, be it smartphone or the Kababe stuff, and with the curiosity that is that now the society has towards the digital revolution, that anyone with just a smartphone, I can say that I can upload a photo or a link, and you just said it, and you see that already have contributed through M-Pesa, because having an account number and a pay bill number, I think this is the shortest way of contributing. So you can contribute at the comfort of your seat, and that's what I wanted to take advantage of, because if you look at Caritas Nairobi, we have different levels of members. We have young people, we have old people, and we have the threads of Caritas Nairobi across the world. So we can say the convenience part of paying contributing was one factor, and even transparency and also the security part of it, because if I want to withdraw some money from the M-Pesa, we have 3 treasurers, so there's no way Eric can initiate the only process. So my team member, the team from my organization, because I had 3 more, so they are part of the entire fundraising process. And this, beside fundraising, we are like embracing the team spirit, the fundraising team spirit. So these are some of the things that made me the accountability part of the security, the convenience, and the embracing team spirit within the organization, because I have 3 more treasurers. And as Francis has said, it's something that is so anyone would like to be part of it. When you said that link through our social media platforms, people will be, through curiosity, they just link it, and they are directed to our page. And through the videos and photos that we have been uploading, show them on a daily basis. We have been updating them. And something else, sorry, too, is that as I said before, I have direct connection with the people who contribute. I text and I say, thank you, your contribution have been received. And I say, we are about to hit our goal. And occasionally I update my members, the contributors, how far you have gone, and also thanking them, because I realize these steps, they really make people come together.
Okay, I appreciate the answers, and I think I like that you have mentioned some of the values that we have as M-Changa on our products, and there's been the accountability, the transparency, where we, for every account that you open, you must be able to have it verified first by adding either supporting documents that prove that you're an organization or that speak to what you're going to be doing. And you must also have a number of treasurers, so that you, maybe if I'm the CEO, I'm not able to withdraw the money without the finance and maybe communication or programs officer person has. And I think that is one of the greatest values to organizations, because are you able to know where exactly this money went to and what exactly it's going to be used for, because you know what we have. And I believe one that has been very beneficial to Francis has been the introduction of the partial withdrawals, where we now have an option. If maybe you've raised 1 million in your account, but you maybe just want to get 20K to maybe help with someone's maybe medical bill or something, you're able to just withdraw that little amount and it's able to, yeah. And one of the other features that has not been mentioned is Eric mentioned about people, even his networks outside Kenya being able to fundraise easily, is that we have all the mobile money options in Kenya, the T-Cash, Airtel Money, M-Pesa. We have that, but we also have the electronic methods of PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard, where you're able to easily fundraise. And so this is a good option for organizations that maybe have the friends of the organizations or family or people who are outside Kenya and are going to be very willing to assist. And before we move on to the next question, I will maybe ask anyone in the audience, could someone maybe would like to maybe ask a question or share the experience in terms of the value they've gotten as an organization raising funds on M-Changa? If there's anyone, we will maybe love to hear from you at this time. Okay, I think we don't have a question for now, but maybe I can give one by Raymond here, and this goes to Francis and Eric. How do you promote a crowdfunding campaign so that you get more contributors? And what are the components that make a campaign successful? And I'm going to tie this a little bit to what was meant to be my next question. I believe throughout the journey, you have noticed what has worked for you, what has not worked for the organization in terms of crowdfunding. And I'm curious to find out, let's first talk about what has worked, and then we're going to later on talk about what has not worked. And so we can maybe start with what has worked because it answers the question that Raymond gave us, and then we will move to the next later. So I don't know, do we start with Francis or Eric? One of you can give it a go.
Okay, let me start since Francis started there. And the good thing is, I'm sure whatever you're going to share, Francis has the same experience. And what has worked for us, and I mean, the social media. And okay, I have a bit mine is 50-50, because if you look at Caritas Nairobi page, we are not all that like, we don't have that huge following, because at most we have right now around 3,000. So considering the size of the organization and the followers in our page, we have realized that is not our catchment area. Like, that's not our strength. So what we used a lot of media, going to the radio. And I think I can say we are quite advantaged because we have some Catholic-based Radio Omini, and we have Radio Maria. But in terms of reach, I can say the moment we went to the radio, when they are out twice or thrice, we could see the level of fundraising, the level of contribution going high. But later, when we went to Radio Maria does not have that wide reach. So we realized that we need to use a more mainline radio media, radio stations. It's quite expensive, because to get airtime to go and talk about your initiative, most radio stations don't agree. They can't accept you less than 10 seconds to tell the listeners your pay bill number and your account number. Then, and some radio stations are hesitant for you to share your own personal number. So what we used is we used a lot of the word of mouth and the WhatsApp, the sharing with the WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
So what we did is that we realized during COVID there was social distancing. So people are so much glued into their smartphones. So we took advantage of that. So what we did, we came up with the posters. These are shareable posters. Now together with our communication department and our network, we could share one poster with 1,000 people. And many people could call me because my number was there. So I was receiving a lot of calls. Even now, I do receive a lot of calls. They say, Eric, is your initiative still ongoing? So if they ask me like that, so I just go back to my platform and I add more days. And this is another thing, Naomi, I never shared. Because I know one advantage of M-Changa, you can continue, you can add more days to your initiative. Initially, I just wanted it to be just 3 months initiative. But later I realized many people are calling me and saying, Eric, I mean, is our initiative still ongoing? So I start now adding 15 more days, 15 more days, 15 more days. So that's one advantage of it. So I used a lot of what worked for me is the WhatsApp groups, then partly social media, and then the 2 or 3 times I visited radio stations. I don't know whether Francis maybe you got a different outlook of the same.
Okay, I think mine has been pretty much the same in terms of social media, which is a good platform of reaching out. Then secondly is the fact that M-Changa allows us to communicate with contributors by sending them messages. So that has been able to get us repeat contributors because people are able to update them on what we are doing, how far we are. So that makes work easier. And then in terms of media, I would say that okay, one, it has taken the hand of God, which is very important for me. And then secondly, we tend to showcase what we do on our social media platform. So that has worked for us because as a result of that, we're able to get a lot of media engagement, be it newspapers, be it stations, be radio stations. Like our work gets out there as a result of the media getting to know what we do through our social media pages. So I think it is just important for anyone who wants to do something and maybe make a difference in the society. Just make sure that everything that you do, you tend to like let people know about it. Like let people know about it and how you're doing it. And then to go to the question, the guy asked about where do you start? Like start from your pocket. I started from my pocket in 2011 when I was starting the wiki thing. I figured out a way around it because I realized I couldn't fundraise from the start, but at least I was still a student, and I thought I wanted to make a difference, and I thought, okay, how can I best do it? So I decided to figure out with my 3 friends, we decided to go to a bed sitter, which was going for 4,500. It was much cheaper than the hostels that we were staying in. So the balance went into providing porridge for the kids. So it started from my pocket, and then bit by bit, I started involving my family members. It was tough because, and for some of our family members to understand what we do, it's quite tough because we're always on the road. Right now, I'm from Pokot. Now getting back into Nairobi, it's hectic sometimes. And then once you do that, also get your cycle of friends to know what you do. Like every opportunity you get when you're introducing yourself, don't be ashamed of saying what you do, the difference that you're trying to make in the society. I think for me, that has gotten us where we are because every opportunity that we are granted for maybe an introduction during any occasion, then I take that opportunity to also talk about what I do in terms of Kapohoji. So that is what has gotten us way where we are right now. And then another thing I wanted to add is the fact that for M-Changa, it makes it easier for people to make small donations. Like sometimes I tell people to do 1 shilling and people get shocked and then they donate 1 shilling and they're like, oh, it has gone through, yeah, they don't expect like 1 shilling can do something. But I tell them, at the end of the day, if we collect several of those 1 shilling coins, then they're going to make a difference somewhere. And I remember when last year when I celebrated my 20th birthday, then I said on a show on Switch TV that, you can support the kids get porridge by just donating 28 shillings, which was my 20th birthday. So people went around donating 28 shillings. So I think the fact that people can make those small donations makes it much easier, and also the fact that it is also cheaper in terms of even organizations being able to withdraw at a much cheaper. Yeah, so that is.
Oh, that's great. I mean, Naomi, sorry, I mean, but just want to, hello, Naomi?
Yes, we can hear you.
I just want maybe to emphasize on what Francis had said, because I have seen that question, that how do you start and how do you make people contribute? I mean, fundraising is more of a passion as well as is a science. You know, it's more of how creative you are, but you need to be also to be passionate about that. Very few people go to school to study fundraising. And I'm sure maybe even Francis will tell you this. But it's all depends on how creative you are and how engaging you are. About M-Changa, I remember I have received several contributions ranging as low or as high as 1 shilling to as high as 50,000. I usually say there's no low amount. You give what you have. So if you give me 1 shilling, that's your high amount. So, and Naomi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, because I can see that we have an unstable connection. Okay. So I remember there's one contributor who sent me 1 shilling. And when he saw that it has gone through, he sent me 10,000. So I think he was just testing whether this thing is true. Like, is it really working? I mean, let me see. I have seen it. Let me try. So he tried with 1 shilling, and it is there. And I have his number. And actually, I called him and I said, man, Eric, I wanted to see whether this thing is real. So, I mean, that's quite commendable from M-Changa point of view, that you can contribute any amount to any initiative that you think of. So thank you, Naomi, for that.
Okay. Yes, thank you, and I really like that you two have brought this up, that we have seen there's the aspect of creativity in fundraising, because we usually see sometimes we have a fundraiser and the people are saying we are going to it's my birthday, it's my 18th birthday, only donate 18 bob. Someone is also able to give that 10 shillings, and the beauty of that is that if 10 of us give that 10 shillings, we are at 100 bob. If 20 of us give that 10 shillings, we are at 200 bob. So there's you're as an organization, you're able to cater for everyone. Those who have the little, they're still able to support you, and those who have much are equally able to support you. And I like what you also mentioned about social media, because I believe every one of you is in a social media site, is on WhatsApp mostly. These days, even we have our parents in their 60s, they're always on, they call it WhatsApp. They are always there. So whenever you share, you'll be able to reach all age groups. If you go to Instagram, you have the youngins there. If you go to Facebook, you have the people in their mid ages. If you go to Twitter, we have the KOT. If you go to WhatsApp, we have our parents there. And so it's very important that we take advantage of this. Social media is really not an area where it's still quite a new concept, especially when it comes to promotion, but it's something that as long as you're good with creativity, you're very good to go with it. So there's always need to, as organizations, to keep engaging your people on social media as much as you can, and always just keep trying, because I'm a communications person, and I know that sometimes you can just be posting something on Facebook and you think no one is watching, but you are just surprised when you go back and see the data, and you're seeing almost 30 people engaged with my content. They saved my picture, they saved the poster of the fundraiser. So I believe the main thing is all about sharing. Do not be scared to tell people, do not be ashamed. Just keep saying, I'm fundraising here, I'm fundraising here, and they will be happy to. And now let's move to what has not worked. I liked Eric mentioned that he came to notice that social media is not the thing for us as Caritas. So we now moved towards a traditional kind of media, and also to WhatsApp. So other than that, do you have anything else that you have noticed along the way? Maybe you are focusing to putting effort into something, but then you notice this is not giving us results. So in case any of you two, Francis and Eric, have an answer about what you've noticed has not worked, maybe we can share, because I believe the rest of us will be able to also know where to put focus onto in terms of our organizations. Yeah, welcome. Eric, I think you can start.
No, thank you, Naomi. I think another thing that I have realized doesn't work for us, and maybe I'll just put a caveat here, because maybe what has not worked for me will work to Francis. So it's all depends with the nature of the organization.
Yeah.
Because like Caritas Nairobi, we are dealing with, it's a church, it's a Catholic-owned association. So we are dealing with Christians. We are looking at people who are not Catholic. So as I said, it needs a lot of good research to know whom you are targeting, your target contributors. Mm-hmm. So I realized when I'm targeting my parents, old parents, and they have really contributed well, because I know in terms of those high amount, I'm getting it from my parents, or the age of when I see my parents is, let's say, from 40 and above, or 50 and above. Mm-hmm. These kind of contributors, they are not into social media. Yeah. And these kind of contributors, okay, maybe let's say 50% or 30% are in WhatsApp. So what I did in M-Changa, we have 3 forms of interaction. You can do WhatsApp, you can do SMSs, and you can do emails. So what I did, and every time I get a contribution, I reply using WhatsApp. But I realized majority of those high contributors, they are not in WhatsApp. So I use SMS. Mm-hmm. So if you look at the level of my contribution, if I see 10,000 and above, I am sure, more than 80% sure, that this person is not in WhatsApp. So if the fundraisers can start now utilizing the SMSs, like SMSs, because even if you don't have a data, the message will come into your phone, whether it's a smartphone or. So I realized when I didn't depend on WhatsApp too much. So I realized that still, but I came to realize later, maybe like that second month, that let me now start using the back SMSs. Mm-hmm. So through the M-Changa platform, you have that option of updating your contributors or informing them something. So I was using the back SMSs, and through the back SMSs, I really got good percentage of contribution. So later I came to realize, although the WhatsApp, it helped me when I was starting it. Later, it wasn't all that sustainable. I went back now to SMSs.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So I get what you're saying is it's also a learning process where you're going to try out something and you'll notice it's not working. And so you must be willing to go back and see what is working and what is not working. Yes. Francis, do you have anything that
yeah? Sorry, Naomi, I lost you.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Naomi, I lost you.
Okay. Can you hear me well now?
Yeah, sure, I can.
Okay. I was now saying, Francis, could you maybe share with us what you have noticed has not worked for you, and you are able to maybe change it or just drop it off?
Okay, I think what has not worked well is making communication too close. So we realize that when we communicate to all contributors within a short span of time, then they won't be receptive. That is something I took note of, and then we changed, and now we have like made the communication at least staggered in a way so that it's not just that close. Again, another thing is that I think I needed just to contribute a point in terms of the whole fundraising thing, and say that, in as much as people are trying to fundraise and raise funds for various initiatives, then another important aspect is we realize that so many people are into social media stuff. be it Twitter, be it Instagram, be it Facebook. And what I normally advise is that, be very careful what you share on those social media platforms. Be very careful the comments you leave on those social media platforms, because one, it might end up getting into the work that you do. And someone is like, okay, so this is this person said this about this, then it means do they even have a heart for what they are doing? So that is something that should be taken very seriously. I see most people don't take precaution around that area. And then another thing is just being accountable. That is the most important thing. Like, just account for whatever people have given out. That will be very, very important, because I realized, I remember just recently, I saw someone share on their social media platform that they were raising funds to do sanitary pads for some girls in Nakuru County. So I reached out to the person and said, oh, how many girls do you want to reach out? And they said 100 girls. So I said, for how many months? And then they said 5 months. Then I said, okay, because we always have a program where we reach out to girls through monthly sanitary pads. So he said, okay, let us share it on my Insta story. And a friend of mine called me and said, no, but can I have the name of your friend? And then I gave the name. My friend told me, just inform your social media friend that I'll take care of that cost for the 5 months of sanitary pads. Then I communicated the same to that person. Then I think that so that they could. I actually told the person that you can now stop fundraising, because already this person has committed to supporting the 100 girls for 5 months, and I'm just going to send you the funds. So 3 days down the line, then this person is still having the fundraising thing on their social media. They're still going on fundraising, and then the person takes a screenshot and sends me, ask me, but I said I'm going to support. Why are they still fundraising? And so just like that, the person just missed the opportunity, because that person was like, no, this person is fishy. If already they have the commitment that they're going to have funds for this, then why are they still continuing to fundraise? So I think that is a very thin line around there, and that is where now people need to be very careful about what they do. Again, another thing that has not worked is trying to. I realize when we promote our social media post, yes, it reaches many people, but it doesn't have an impact. So you say, okay, if it has even 2 likes, then you never know who is watching or who is reading it. It might have 2 likes, but it reaches somewhere, and you're like, okay, so how did this person get to know about this? Because most of the support that we get is as a result of the things that we share on our social media platforms. And I'm also very careful on my personal social media platform. Because of the work that I do, I tend to mostly share about what I do on my social media platform, so that I don't get everything mixed up. What most people do is that I come to your social media account and I can't tell the difference between what you do and what you post. Like, there are two separate things that are on the extreme opposite. So, and I tend to warn most people about that try to talk as much as possible about what you do on your social media platform, so that is how we are going to make a difference. If I have to scroll like 20 posts to reach what you do, I think it doesn't make sense. It just, you don't just have the passion for it, because if you have the passion for it, you'll be sharing it every single day. So yeah, so that is something that I thought I needed to share. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I think your last point is important, especially for individuals who do the promotion for their organizations, because and also if it's an organization, stick to what you really talk about, and be consistent with that, and also try not to have any contradictions between what you say and what you're trying to fundraise for. And now I'm really grateful for Eric and Francis for sharing with us today. And I think we can now move on to the Q&A session. And let's hear the questions we have, and maybe we can answer them because we have about 14 minutes to the end of the session. Michael, do we have any questions?
Thank you so much, Naomi. I really want to thank Eric and Amonde for that great input. And one thing that they have really put forward is that they didn't give up. If this channel didn't work, like for Eric who tried WhatsApp and realized that WhatsApp was not working well for them, they moved to using the SMS. So to everyone who is there, maybe you've registered an account and the first 1 month you are seeing it's not working well for you. That's not the point to give up. Always continue sharing and change the channels until you be able to attain your goal. So I'll go to there's a question that what do they contribute again from funding an initiative? Naomi?
Yes, I believe as a contributor is the person who's giving towards the organization, and I believe what they might be gaining is when someone gives towards your organization, they have now become part of the solution, because maybe if you are trying to raise funds like Francis to be able to ensure a child can stay in school well on a fed stomach, by giving, I am able to be part now of that solution. And other than that, I don't think there's much of a benefit to a contributor, but there are many to you as the fundraiser. Yes. Any other question, Michael?
Thank you so much. Also, just to add on the point that, okay, thanks so much for that. Just to add on to the point that you've said, people always feel good assuming that there's a need and you've assisted someone to meet that need. There's that happiness that you feel. So maybe someone does not give you any gift in return, but just feeling that at least you've assisted a girl somewhere to have a pad, I think that is a great achievement that a contributor will gain from assisting such kind of causes. The second question, Naomi, is that how does one start such a business?
I believe
A crowdfunding type business. Naomi, starting up a fundraiser on M-Changa, the process is the same. If you want an online fundraiser, hi Naomi.
Hi, I can hear you.
Okay, proceed please.
Okay. I believe I'm not sure if the person speaking was talking about a crowdfunding type of business. Does that mean a platform or your own fundraiser, like a business fundraiser? But in case it was a business, your own fundraiser, the process is, if you want, we have two types of fundraisers. We have mobile and we also have online ones. So if you want to register an online fundraiser, you will go to www.changa.co.ke. I'll drop that on the chat section, and you will click on the login option on your top right, and then you're going to now fill in your details and then receive an email, activate it, and set your password. If you would like to set up a mobile fundraiser, this is especially for individuals who do not have a constant access to internet. You can dial *483 *57#, and you'll be able to set up a mobile fundraiser where you will be able to manage all the processes without necessarily needing to log in into anything specific. It will be purely USSD. And before we move to the next question, I can see Costin Oyo has raised his hand. Costin, could you maybe give us your question?
Okay, good afternoon. Okay, my question was, how do you get on board those people who, like strangers, like those people that you don't have direct link? Eric was talking about having about 600 contacts, the persons he knew. But I'm asking about converting somebody who doesn't, fundraising to your organization, because personally, as a young person, I think I'm limited to the number of people I've interacted with due to age. So how do you get like more people into your contribution? Thank you.
Okay, I believe Francis, can you answer that, because you talked about starting out while you are still a student, and could you maybe speak on that?
Yes. I think for me, I started out in terms of from Now, how I got people involved. This is interesting. Let me give you a short story. I hope I won't eat into much of your time, but allow me to say this. So in 2014, because when I started in 2011, I needed to just reach out to slightly 100 children who are ECD children and giving them porridge, which was affordable. So the school kept pushing that I could include the whole school because the older ones were fighting over the porridge with the younger ones. So in 2014, I did something crazy. I think it was, I don't know whether it was the month of October or where, but I did something crazy. I went on my social media platform. I went on Twitter specifically. So when I went on Twitter at around 1 a.m., then I decided to tweet the president of this country. That is His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. And then what happened is that I think in less than 5 minutes, by then his head of in charge who was handling communications was Dennis Itumbi. So he got in touch. He said, can you follow me back? That was on Twitter. So I followed him back and then he sent me a message, asked for my contact. I gave him. He called and then he asked, oh, can you explain more about this? Then I explained. And after explaining, then he said, oh, some of these things you don't have to get the attention of the president. We can see what we can do in our own at our own level. So I gave all the details about what I was doing. And then I said, okay, for me, I thought of like, there was no any other place I could get help aside from the president of the republic. So after that, we had a conversation, I think, until around 2 a.m. towards 3 a.m. So he said, okay, let's see what we can do. By then, we were having the M-Changa pay bill number. So I just gave out that. And then we started with, we ran the Kapovuji hashtag. So he decided on his own personal account, he decided to actually tell people to contribute towards Kapovuji, and he explained what Kapovuji was trying to do and the fact that we needed to scale up into the old school. And by morning, we had enough funds to scale up the old school. So it doesn't have to be people in your contacts. Like, make use of your social media handles. Make use of wherever you go. You know, just talk about what you do wherever you go. You never know. Those strangers will turn into friends and they will turn into contributors. So just don't give up and say, oh, you have maybe 10 people in your contact list. Yes, you might have 10 people, but by sharing about what you do in every opportunity that you get, you never know which kind of stranger might get interested in what you do and chip in and maybe contribute and support your initiative. So that is my take. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. Michael, do we have another question?
Yes, we are having a question from Raymond. Been answered. Raymond was asking, how do you promote a crowdfunding campaign so that you can get more contributors? What are the components that make a campaign successful?
Okay, I believe we tackled that in between the discussion, and we talked about how you must be willing to share and just keep sharing, do not give up, and there was that. And I think there was a follow-up question in regard to that also, is that the components of a successful campaign and what's the science behind it. And I believe as Francis and Eric talked about it, there's no science behind fundraising. It's just recently that I've seen there are now courses around fundraising and that, but I believe from the takeaways from our two speakers is that you just have to keep sharing. You have to be creative with your ways. You have to always thank your donors. You have to be able to, you must be willing to put in the work for it to be able to work. And we also have some resources. A blog where we have talked about how to be able to succeed in your fundraising journey. So I believe in coupled up with what Francis and Eric have shared, that you can be able to maybe try and figure out the science behind fundraising. Yeah. Michael?
Thank you so much, Naomi. There's Julius. Julius is asking, how do you get started? He's also asking any charges or commission from your end. And it's also asking, how does the affiliate part work? So for the affiliate part, I requested him for the number. I will call him later to explain to him the affiliate program. Okay. So you're asking, how do you get started and any charges or commission from your end? Thank you.
Okay, as you've heard from Michael is the expert when it comes to affiliates and also the mind behind the program. And when it comes to how you're starting up, in the chat section, if you check, I've given links of how you're able to sign up for the online fundraisers, and also the USSD you're supposed to dial while signing up for the mobile fundraiser. When it comes to commissions on our end, we have a service fee of 4.25% that is usually charged upon withdrawal, and registration is free, but when you want to withdraw, there's that service fee of 4.25% that is charged. Yes, I hope I have answered that well. Michael?
Okay, thank you so much, Naomi. This from Maurice Otieno. Maurice is asking, how do I benefit by participating in a process like this, Changa, to help me raise funds for my project?
Okay. I believe the greatest benefit that one can get from this is the values that you're able to get. And as Eric and Francis mentioned, there's the ability for you to be able to easily update your fundraisers. We have the share options that give very easy sharing to Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, email, and messages, the text message. We have the easily downloadable statements. We have the diverse payment options where you also have Visa and MasterCard as options of donation. And also when it comes to sharing, as the communication at M-Changa, we're able to do stories, that is blog written stories. And also we can organize to have a video shoot with you as a fundraiser to tell us what your organization is doing. And by sharing that, more people are able to better understand what you're doing. Yeah, so I believe those are the values that come from it. And as we mentioned at the beginning, is that by making your donor part of the solution, you're able to get more than just the financial bit. You can be able to have people who turn out to be volunteers in your organization, or people who are going to willingly share their skills. So I believe those are the benefits that you can get from fundraising on M-Changa as an organization. Michael?
Thank you so much, Naomi. That is well answered. There is Sibel Kusimba. The question is, it is so interesting that the older, more generous donors were found using SMS. What is the reason for this? Are they in areas without data such as rural, or are they less used to using WhatsApp? I think this one will go to you and Eric.
Yes, Eric, maybe you can tell us more about this. What did you find out is the reason for less engagement on WhatsApp than on text?
Okay, thank you, Naomi and Michael, for that. And the one who asked that question, I really don't know the reason, to be sincere, because initially, you know, as you said, I mean, we need to be so consistent in sharing what we do. Initially, I thought WhatsApp was the best, because that's how I sold my initiative. And so I was using all the WhatsApp messages. But later, when I'm interacting with my donors, I realize majority of them, they are not in WhatsApp. I really don't know what happened. But just looking at that, is the older generation, they are trying to discourage people using, like, anyway, when I go to the village, even your mom, Naomi, or your older parent,
Yeah,
he or she will be comfortable using the cabal, because they have seen how people are they are so engrossed on WhatsApp, and I really don't know. But that was my weird way of thinking, because they are contributing more than 10,000, but the only way I could get them was through either they have deactivated their WhatsApp group, the WhatsApp account. I really don't know, but it's a lesson I learned. So I have been using both now. I'm using both WhatsApp and SMSs.
Oh.
So I really don't have a definite answer to that.
Yes, just to add on that, I don't know if any of you have been around your parents. You will notice that sometimes, like my mom, for example, she can even stay for a whole week. They can stay for a whole week without even accessing their WhatsApp. So I think,
sure, exactly.
Yeah, I think that can be a reason why the older generation is more accessible through text. But I don't think there's a very definite answer, because it's person specific. But yeah, as Eric has mentioned, he's yet to know the reason why, but you have to keep testing to know what works best for your donors. Michael,
Sure.
Thank you. Same person asking that, how has the COVID-19 affected the ability to fundraise?
Oh, okay. I think this is very interesting because I don't know, maybe Francis and Eric can speak to this. During COVID, there's the idea that at this moment, people do not have money. There's scarcity because people are no longer going to work. There are those kind of challenges. But I believe we are also seeing campaigns contributing towards COVID, raising amounts like 2 million plus. And so I think, I don't know, Eric, how has the experience been? And also maybe Francis, during this COVID time, has fundraising gone higher or have the amounts gone lower? Maybe you two can answer that because you have experience firsthand in your fundraisers.
Okay, let me go first. Then Francis, right now, for me, COVID is an opportunity to fundraise. Because you know what COVID did was to change the traditional fundraising trades. Because every year there's a trade that the fundraiser and donors support. And I'm sure Francis know that, because as a fundraiser, you have to know the global fundraising trend. You know, it has been clean energy, it has been girl child, it has been family planning, it has been human rights. But from April, the traditional fundraising trends has totally changed and COVID took over. So for us fundraisers, we know in the next 3 years, the fundraising will be towards long-term strategies towards COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, COVID was an opportunity of fundraising. It didn't affect, and actually it gave me more opportunities of fundraising from the organization point of view and from the fundraising strategies. But it has affected our traditional donors, the one they were supporting youth empowerment, girl empowerment. They are now toward water and sanitation and emergencies and livelihood recovery. I think this we need a whole session on this, Naomi. I don't know, Rita, how we can discuss about COVID and fundraising.
Okay. We actually have a session.
Yeah,
we are planning to have a fundraising in the COVID era, a session on that on September 18th. Cool. Yeah. Francis, do you have anything on this? On how COVID has affected fundraising?
Okay, first of all, sorry, I was saying goodbye to one of the cameraman, so he was alighting from the vehicle because okay. I'm taking a different direction. Okay. Yeah, so well, COVID has affected the way people fundraise traditionally, what we are used to, and because everyone's income has been affected, but at the same time, it has been an opportunity for all organizations to continue making a difference in their areas of focus. Because even for us, we were feeding kids in school, but now we are able to even feed them at home and give them more than even the uji, because we're giving rice, we're giving beans, we're giving cooking oil, we're giving soap. So it's about coming up as an organization. It's about developing a strategy, a fundraising strategy, and it is also about how you communicate that strategy to your traditional contributors. Because if you communicate it in a bad way, then you're not going to get what you the donation. But if you communicate it in the right way, then people will still be able to support. Because we currently run our Be Nice KE, and that is what has brought me from West Pokot, because we went to have an impact in the lives of 100 families. We are focusing on 100 families around every school that we support. And so far, so good. I think we can't complain. It's just organization time. As you try and fundraise, even as organizations try and fundraise during this period, what I can say is that whatever excesses remain, then carry it forward to your other projects so that you don't have to keep fundraising, because that is what we are looking forward to right now. Just in case schools resume, then we are going to be able to do more than what we are initially doing. We are going to be able to offer not just porridge, but we're also going to offer a lunch of rice and beans to the pupils. So yeah, so in as much as it has affected, At the same time, it's about strategizing and also looking at other ways of making a difference. We are still giving those families even soap and liquid and hand wash. So it's still the same thing, but you're doing more for the society. So I think it's a matter of communication and also coming up with a new fundraising strategy to go in tandem with whatever we are having at the moment. So that is my take. Thank you.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting because it seems that we now have to change our strategy and also be more keen on our communication. Michael, do we have another question?
Yes, there's again a question here which I will answer. Joyce is asking that could you kindly explain to me further on the affiliate program? So let me just take 1 minute to at least clarify on this, since it's repeated and maybe there are other people who also want to know about this program.
Okay.
So in an affiliate program, here we register you and we give you a unique referral code. Then when you come across someone who's having a fundraising need, you refer this person to use M-Changa. We had our clients who are referring people on M-Changa previous days, and sometimes someone's call you, Michael, I referred to a fundraiser to you. How do I benefit from this? Or what will I get out of this? So we introduced an affiliate program. Yeah, we give you a unique referral code. So when you refer someone to raise money on M-Changa, then we give you 1% of our 4.25%. M-Changa charges a service fee of 4.25%. So if you refer someone and that person raises, let's say, 1 million, from the 4.25% that M-Changa is charging, we will send you 1% of that. So we always send this every Friday at 3 p.m. So when you refer an account for the first 1,000 shillings raised, we send you 500. Then we will be sending you 500 shillings for each 50,000 shillings that will be raised by the account that you refer. You can refer even more than one account. We will sum up their totals. If it is adding to the amount I mentioned, we'll be able to send you the incentives. You can refer all types of fundraisers on M-Changa program. You can just drop me your number. I will call you later to explain further and also to register you if you are interested. Thank you so much for that. So there's a question from Olive. The question goes, how do you deal with the donor fatigue when they seem to slow down on giving or just stopped? Have you experienced it? How did you deal with it?
Okay, I think since this is a question on from experience, Francis and Eric, have you experienced donor fatigue, and how are you able to deal with that?
Thank you, Naomi, for that. Yeah, donor fatigue is a common phenomenon in fundraising, and what we do is that we try to be so. Not that every message that I said or every SMS that I said is asking for money. What you can do is sometimes you change the tone of your message. Instead of asking for more contribution, you say, I'm just contacting you to say how grateful I am as an organization for contributing towards my initiative. Sometimes you just said a grateful message.
Yeah.
And also the next time, and I know this one, but now it works in a different level. There are some organizations that invite donors for a coffee or tea or a treat or some gift, like gifting them. I know most of us are not in that level, but I know from Caritas point of view, I have that program that I not to reward, but maybe to gift them with the merchandise and something that they remember us for. And also we like making sure that you contact your donors during major festive or major days like Christmas, just set them that appreciate them as donors, as even as human beings, not that like donor machines, that they are money machines. So donor fatigue is normal, and that's why we are told always to diversify the source of your funding, not to depend on the same people all through and through. We have different sources of fundraising.
Okay. What you've mentioned has made me think about maybe sometimes we have those kinds of friends who only text us when they want something. Nisaidie. And so what I've understood from you is that we should avoid that sometimes be that friend who will just check up on their friend and tell them, by the way, thank you for always supporting me. And in a way, it's a kind of even like reverse psychology where I will feel like, and by the way, how have you been doing? And you'll just tell me, yeah, we are still fundraising, and without asking me directly, I will feel the need to, yeah, I can assist on this. And I think that's so you are really talking about we need to be creative in our ways of approaching our donors, and don't forget to say thank you to donors. Okay. Michael, do we have another?
Hi, Naomi.
Yes.
Yes, I'm taking the last questions. We are 9 minutes past time, so
Okay.
I'm taking the last questions, which I will also answer. Then I take it back to you. So
Okay.
Andrew is asking, can a business raise capital using M-Changa? Andrew and everyone, the answer is yes. You can raise money on M-Changa for your business capital. That is allowed. I mentioned that you can do all types of fundraisers on M-Changa apart from political ones, or someone is raising money to cause harm to another, or someone raising money to cause harm. So you can raise money for your business capital. So now that's the last questions that I've taken. Back to you, please. No more questions.
Okay. So as organizations, as we had mentioned earlier, we are also able to, our communication is able to come to you, and maybe if you need to promote your fundraisers, we are happy to do that, either by writing a story, a written story, or even doing the visuals through video. And I think for now we are about to end. We can have I don't know, once we finish on Monday, I'm going to have to send you a follow-up where we are going to have links to the resources that can help you as an organization. We're also going to have a link to this recorded session in case you will need to have, if you will need to refer to anything, I'll have that to you shared. And yes, I believe that is it. And maybe we can have some vote of thanks from Francis, Eric, and then Michael in that order, and then we can be able to close and say goodbye. Yes.
Okay, let me begin by saying thank you to everyone who was logged into this short conversation and short discussion that you are having today. Thank you to M-Changa for organizing this and putting this together. Naomi, Michael, thank you so much for putting this together. Eric, thank you for being on board and also just sharing your insights and your knowledge on how fundraisers work, and even in terms of the organizational aspect of things. And yes, I'm so grateful because there are people who I've seen messages there. Some people who interact with me on LinkedIn. I'm grateful. Yes, those are people who support Kapo Uji. So thank you so much for everyone. Just say each one reach one, yeah, each person just reach one person. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Eric.
So thank you, Naomi, for your invitation, and all my fellow panelists, Francis and Michael, and all the attendees. And I'm happy for this platform because the more you share, the more you gain. So I'm happy to share more. I'm free anytime you feel that I want us to share. I'm ready to share more. And since you are doing it practically, I want to tell people that still our Basket of Hope initiative is ongoing. This is how fundraisers work, and Francis said so. So our numbers still remain. Our account number is 891300. And that's our pay bill number, and our code number is 39392. I'm just doing this so that you see how passionate fundraisers are. Every time you get an opportunity, just weigh and you see how people are. No, see kirasa, but I'm telling you this so that you have all the information at hand about your pay bill number and account number. I'm so grateful to M-Changa and to all the attendees. I'm looking forward. And Michael, I'll contact you after this. I think we have some business to share.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Naomi.
Okay, Michael.
Thank you so much, everyone. Eric, I'm so much happy to have you today. Thank you for creating time to take us through this. Francis, thank you so much for creating time and all the attendees. We are so glad. And kindly, the conversation is still going on. If you are having any question that you may want us to answer, you can write us email on hello@changa.co.ke or support@changa.co.ke. Also, if you are interested in the affiliate program, kindly just leave me your number here or send it to our email address. Dr. Violet Okech, I'm so happy to see you here. Ernest Jayo, thank you so much. And everyone who are there with us from the beginning until now, we are very much happy. May you have a great weekend ahead. Naomi, thank you so much, and back to you.
Okay, I would like to say thank you for everyone who's been able to join in. I had a pleasure hosting you today, and I look forward to hosting you again. As we said, we are going to have another fundraiser on another webinar on fundraising during the COVID times on 18th. I'll be sure to send an invite to each of you. And thank you so much for joining in. Yes, we look forward to having you again, and I really hope you found this useful. It makes us happy to see you saying in the chat that this has been interesting and insightful to you. We are happy that we are able to give value for your time. Yes, and I believe we can now say goodbye, and thank you so much for joining. I hope to see you again next time. Thank you.